All right, guys. So I see we're a couple of minutes after 6:30, and I see people are still continuing to come into the room. But I'll just start now, just so that to make sure that I'm cognizant of the time, and I want to make sure that we also finish on time, and you also get the chance to ask questions. So in this presentation, I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle than what you probably heard about websites. Okay, I mean, if you've ever heard presentations or you've watched things online, you probably got bamboozled with a lot of technical features and other functionality that your website needs to have. Okay, lots of bells and whistles, lots of features. It has to look very pretty. It has to have lots of pretty pictures and all that sort of stuff. And that is actually that is okay if you're trying to create some kind of art, okay, or create like an art project. But if you actually want your website to be a business tool, which is what it should be first and foremost, above all else, okay, you need to focus on other things, other factors of your website, and not just how pretty it is and how many features and bells and whistles it has, okay? So I'm not saying necessarily that means that your website has to look ugly. No, it does have to look presentable and professional, but the focus should not be so much on the visuals, but rather on the effectiveness of your website as a business tool, all right? And that is the aim of this presentation. All right, so first of all, I just want to give you a few reasons why you should stick till the end, and I'll do my very best to finish on time, so I'm aware that people have other commitments. So why should you stick till the end? So the first thing, you learn what features you need to have in order for your website to be an effective business tool, okay, which is what I promised you to do, okay? You learn how you can actually add those features to your website. So what specific tools and what specific techniques you can use, okay, to add those features to your website, okay? After I finish the presentation, okay, there will be I will present an offer, okay, for a particular training program that I have, okay? There is no obligation for you to take that. So this webinar is all about content, but there will be an offer at the end, and it is up to you if you take it or not. And if you take it either today or within the next 7 days, there will be a nice bonus for you that I've never made publicly available before. And to be honest, once you understand what this bonus is and how much it's worth, I probably will never offer it again. So entirely up to you if you take it or not, but there will be a nice bonus for you if you do. And at the end, as I said, we will have a Q&A session. So you'll be able to ask any questions that you have, either about the content of this presentation or any other questions that you arrived to this webinar with and you would like me to answer. I'll be more than happy to do so, and I will stay for as long as needed until all your questions are answered. Okay. Now, in order to ask a question, you'll see at the bottom of your screen. Okay. So on the left-hand side, there are two tabs there. One tab is polls, and the other tab is questions. Okay, so the polls tab is just a quick poll, just for me to understand better about who you guys are, where you're from, what is your situation as far as the website. And the questions is for you guys to ask me questions. Okay, so if you have any questions, this is where that should go. All right, so let's get started. All right, so first of all, a little bit about me. I mean, I'm not big on talking about myself. I mean, I don't think the focus should be about me, or the focus should be about serving you, okay? But just so that you understand what is my background and how does that relate to what I'm talking to you about today. So my background is in IT and management consulting. I have a master's degree in IT, and I worked as a management consultant for one of the big 4 accounting firms, okay? For quite a while, okay? And when was it? Late 2009, I kind of started feeling that I've had enough of the corporate world and started looking basically for a way out of that. Okay, took me a few more months, well into 2010, until I've decided to make the leap. But that's when I left, and I decided that I'm going to start my own online business. I had a few ideas in my head, and to be quite honest with you, I was probably a bit arrogant and cocky, and I thought, oh, you know, with all my background and technical background and background in management consulting, then, you know, starting a profitable online business and, you know, crushing it online, as they say, it is going to be a walk in the park and no problem whatsoever. And as it is often the case, you don't know the reality until you actually experience it yourself. And all I can say is that the reality was very, very different. And while it's true that I had a lot of technical background and skills, that is actually not what you need in order to succeed online. Okay, I learned that pretty quickly. You need a completely different skill set, and technical skills take a very, very low ranking in a very, very low priority in that skill set, if at all. Okay, I mean, just to give you an idea, there is a company called Alibaba, which is actually the biggest online merchant in the world. Okay, and their owner, okay, Jack Ma, is the wealthiest person in China and one of, I think, the top 5 billionaires in the world or something along those lines. And the guy, like, you know, runs one of the biggest tech companies in the world. And to this day, he struggles, like, you know, to use a computer, and he doesn't know how to code. So it just goes to show that your technical abilities and experience have nothing to do with, like, you know, succeeding online. And that also includes having a good website. So after trying for a couple of years to figure out how to get this online thing working, and, you know, also listening to all the marketing experts saying, oh, you know, your website needs to have lots of bells and whistles, has to be pretty and all that sort of stuff. I've fallen into that trap myself. And it's taken me a while to figure out that that's actually not the case, and that's not what it's important, okay? And once I figured out that a website is a business tool, okay, and you need to first of all figure out what you want your website to achieve as a tool, okay? The same way that, you know, if you pick up a hammer or a pair of scissors, you know what you're going to do with it. You don't really care what color it is, okay, or how pretty it looks, or, you know, whether you bought it, you know, from a Kmart or from a $2 shop or from a high-end department store. It doesn't really matter, okay? It needs to do the job. So once I figured out that, you know, a website is a business tool, and you need to figure out, first of all, what you want to achieve with your website, and then figure out the best way to achieve that, okay? That's when things started changing for me. And I was able to transform the first online business that I started into quite a thriving community. I'm proud to say that we're serving now several thousand Australians, okay, helping them save money on everyday products and services. And I'll just show you briefly the website in a second. And I guess the next step for me was, I mean, I realized that, especially listening to a lot of, you know, the internet marketing gurus, so to speak, I realized that a lot of other small business owners like myself fall into that same trap, okay? And you know, they either get the wrong advice, or, you know, get bogged down with the details, or just get overwhelmed, okay? And struggle to actually have an effective website and an effective online presence, and quite often give up on all that online thing, okay? So after, you know, experiencing that myself, and after hearing the same story from a lot of other small business owners, okay, with a few groups that I've been involved with, both on Facebook and through meetups and stuff like that, that's when I decided that I can actually help. And, you know, based on my own personal experience, that's when I started a web design and social media consultancy, and it's called MG Web Design and Social Media. And that's basically what brings us to today's presentation. Okay, so that's just a quick screenshot of my first online success, what I consider my first online success. There were a few other ventures before that didn't go very well, so I'm not even going to bother showing you that, but that's basically it. But that's enough about me. Let's get into the content. Okay, that's just some of the websites that I've created for my clients, just a quick sample of my work. All right, so what do you think is the #1 mistake people make with their website? I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Okay, so that is the number one mistake. Sorry. Okay, so the number one mistake is not collecting emails from people who come to their website. Okay, not building what's called an email database. Okay, now a lot of small business owners, and you probably do, some of you probably do that as well. Okay, put a lot of effort into building a following on social media. Okay, you might have a Facebook page or an Instagram account or a Pinterest account or Twitter account, and you know, you're really trying to get people to follow you on social media. Okay, and that's great, but you need to understand, okay, that whatever audience you have on social media, okay, you don't actually have any control over that audience. Okay, the social media platform where you have that audience, they are the ones in control. Because, and I mean, Facebook is probably one of the best examples for that, okay? If Facebook changes the rules or changes their algorithm, okay, and starts restricting how many people see the posts that, you know, you make on your business page or, you know, on Instagram, which is also incidentally owned by Facebook, okay, starts restricting who sees, like, you know, the photos that you post on Instagram, okay, then you might have, you know, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 followers on social media, okay, but when you post, okay, maybe 1 or 2%, if you're lucky, maybe 10% of the people will actually see your message, okay? So that's a big problem. As opposed to email, okay, which is something that you control 100%. Okay, email allows you to communicate directly with your prospective clients, or, you know, your existing clients, or anyone that you need to be in contact with, because there are no intermediaries. Okay, when you send an email, okay, to your client or to your prospect, okay, it doesn't go through, like, you know, someone in the middle deciding, okay, whether we're going to send that or not. Yes, true, there are spam filters, but if you set up your email service correctly, and most email services do that for you automatically, okay, then you will have no issues. So basically, when you send an email to someone, that email will end up in their inbox, okay? Whether they choose to open it, whether they choose to take action, that's entirely up to them, but it's guaranteed that it will actually reach them, okay? 100% of the people. If you have 1,000 people in your email list, if you have 100 people in your email list, if you send an email to those people, all those people will get it, okay? Which is something that you cannot achieve with any other social media platform. Now, people say that, you know, some people say that email is dead, that, you know, email is old school, that, you know, everyone is on social media, and why do you need email? So an interesting statistic about it, and I've looked at a few research articles and a few other resources before this presentation, and the numbers are absolutely staggering. So 66% of people who have an active email address, okay, and pretty much everyone has an active email address these days, at least one, most people have more than one, okay? 66% of them check that email several times a day, okay? Out of those, 13% check their email every hour, okay? I mean, these are crazy, crazy, crazy numbers, especially for people who think that email is dead, okay? So when it comes to collecting emails, okay, this is your most valuable asset. I would actually say that your email database is even more valuable than your website, okay? And because, as we'll cover shortly, most of the people that come to your website never come back, okay? If they find you through Google, or if they find you through social media, they come to your website, and they might look at they might look at information, or they might look at your products, or they might look at your services, okay? And that's it, and leave. And that's not necessarily, not because you did a bad job, or because your website is not good, but because, you know, they got their information, or, you know, they checked the prices, they checked your prices, decided whether, you know, those prices are good enough for them or not, and that's it, and, you know, moved on with their lives, okay? And once they're gone, they're gone. There is really no way for you to get them to come back, or to be in contact with them, you know, in further contact with them. The only way that you'll be able to do that is if you were able to get their email address and get them to agree, okay, to for you to send them email marketing messages in the future, okay? And then basically you can be in direct contact with them whenever you want, okay? So each and every one of you, okay, if you have a website, okay, and you are not collecting email addresses, okay, you need to start doing that yesterday, okay? That is the most important thing, okay? That is, I would say, that is regardless of what type of business you have and what are the business outcomes you're trying to achieve from your website, okay? What are your goals from your website, okay? Your number one goal and your number one priority, no matter what, okay, and no matter what industry you're in, is to get people to give you their email address, okay? So that you can be in contact with them. All right. So the next thing we're going to cover is what platform you should actually use to create your business website, okay? And there are a lot of website platforms out there, okay? Some of them are free, okay, like Weebly or Wix, okay? There's also Google's blogging platform called Blogger, okay? They're free, okay? And they allow you to create a pretty good looking website. It might look professional. It might have most of the features that you want, okay? But I would say, don't use it. Don't use any of them. There really is only one platform that you should use, okay? And that platform is WordPress, okay? Now, you can't, never use platforms like Weebly, Wix, or even Blogger, okay, from Google. The reason being, the reason is twofold, okay? The first reason is that those platforms are proprietary, which means basically they're like a black box, okay? So you don't know what's under the hood, basically. You don't know how the actual website software works, okay, under the hood. And if you ever wanted to move your website to some other platform, whether you'll be able to do it at all, or if you could, how easy would that be to do, okay? So, I mean, a lot of people say that, we have a lot of black boxes in our lives anyway. Like, we drive a car and we don't necessarily know how it works, and it doesn't stop us from using it. And that's true, okay? But the thing is, if we use the car analogy again, you can get your car fixed with any mechanic, all right? Because, okay, all cars, okay, even though you don't know how they work, okay, all cars have the same basic components, okay? Whereas, platforms like Blogger, Weebly, Wix, okay, each one of them is built using different technology. That's one thing. And second thing is that technology is actually proprietary, which means it's commercial secret, okay? So nobody but those companies, okay, knows how those platforms are built and how they're run, okay? So that is one issue. The other big issue, okay, is that with these platforms, you cannot separate, okay, the website platform itself and the hosting, okay? So the hosting and the platform, the website platform, come together, okay? And there is no way to separate them. So for example, if you have your website on Weebly, you can only have your hosting with Weebly, okay? You can't take your Weebly website and put it with another hosting company. You just can't, okay? Because it's tied together. Now, there are multiple problems with that, with such a setup, okay? One problem is the fact that, obviously you can't move your website to another hosting provider if you want, like, I don't know, better speed, or you want some features that, are not available through your hosting company, okay? And the other thing is that because those platforms are free, okay, they sometimes attract spammers and other operators that are, well, how would I say it? Not entirely kosher, okay? And there has been actually recently an incident with Wix, okay, whereby Wix accumulated so many spammers, and even worse than that, like, people who created websites for the sole purpose of, distributing viruses and things like that, that Google basically had enough. And what they said is that all the websites, okay, that are built on Wix, we're just basically going to de-index them, which means we'll just remove them, okay, from the Google search results until those people at Wix sort out their mess in their platform, Okay, so if you had your website with Wix and something like that happened, I mean, you might have not done anything wrong, and you're perfectly all right and reputable, but because the whole platform, okay, has been punished, and you are part of that platform, you're going to be punished too. Okay, so these are two very important considerations. Okay, why not use free proprietary platforms like Weebly, Wix, or Blogger. Okay, I always like to say that you still pay a price when you get a free website, and that price is called control. Yeah, you don't pay in dollars, okay, or in euros, okay, but you pay in control. You have less control over such an important business asset. Okay, and the good thing is that there is actually a very easy alternative. Okay, and a very good alternative, and that alternative is called WordPress. Now, WordPress itself is a website platform. Okay, so it's a website software. It's a platform to build your website on. Okay, but it has two main differences compared to Weebly, Wix, or Blogger. Okay, first of all, it is completely open source. So basically, the code, okay, or I guess the insides, okay, of the system, of this platform, are publicly available. So, if you're a programmer, or you can read this sort of stuff, you can look into the WordPress code and see everything, like see how it works, see what features are available, what features can be added. Not only that, you are absolutely free to take the WordPress code, okay, the existing WordPress code, and modify it and do whatever you want with it, okay, and use it as your own, okay? So it's definitely not a black box like something like Weebly or Wix. The second thing is that WordPress is not tied to a particular hosting company. So basically, any modern web hosting company, okay, can host a WordPress site for you. Okay, that also means that you can move between hosting providers very easily. So say, for example, you started your WordPress site on, hosting company A, and that company has become either unreliable or slow, or maybe they've increased their prices, or maybe they've changed their business model, or whatever, or maybe, they've been overrun by spammers or things like that. No problem at all. What you do, you have absolutely no problem. Basically, what you do, you need to copy the content of your website, okay, which is basically a file directory and a database file, okay, upload it to another web hosting company, and that's it, and you're good to go. And not only that, most web hosting companies will actually even transfer your WordPress site across to them for free. So if you're moving from one hosting company to another hosting company, and you have an existing WordPress site, most of the reputable and the good ones, okay, they will even move it across for you for free, no charge whatsoever. So you don't even have to lift a finger, okay? So these are the main reasons why WordPress, okay, is the only platform, in my opinion, okay, that business owners should consider for their website. Not only that, okay, you're actually in a very good company, okay? So they say power in numbers, and when it comes to WordPress, the numbers are insane. They're unbelievable, okay? I mean, WordPress powers now more than a quarter of the internet. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. More than a quarter of the entire internet, okay, is powered by WordPress. I mean, there has never been, ever in the history of the internet, a website platform that has gained so much popularity, okay, that it was able to power a quarter of the entire internet. I mean, just imagine how many websites there are on the internet. A quarter of them are powered by WordPress. Okay, not to mention that obviously millions of small business websites are powered by WordPress. And not just small business. I mean, there are a lot of massive companies, massive organizations that power their websites with WordPress. Okay, two primary examples, as you can see here, is NASA and CNN. I mean, I always say to people, like I always say to my clients, like, if WordPress is good enough, okay, for the people who put a man on the moon, you're probably going to be all right as well. I mean, let's put things in perspective. And so really, if you can't really go wrong choosing WordPress, okay, because you're in such a good company, and because WordPress is so popular, okay, and it is supported by thousands of a community of thousands, both individuals and companies all over the world, who create plugins and themes and other things for WordPress, okay, a lot of them are completely free of charge, okay, you know that this platform is not going anywhere. Not only that, and that's another very important point, no one actually owns WordPress. So WordPress doesn't actually have an owner, okay? The WordPress trademark, so that logo that you see here, okay, that is owned by the WordPress Foundation, which is a nonprofit foundation. But the software itself, it has no owner, okay? So anyone in the world, okay, can take it and do whatever they want with it. So no one can actually shut WordPress down, okay, because WordPress is not hosted on a central location, okay, and it doesn't have a single owner, okay? So hopefully by now you understand why WordPress really should be your only choice. All right, so next we're going to move into the main part of the presentation, and that's what features you actually need to have on your website. So what things actually matter, okay, in order for your website to be an effective business tool, okay? And a business tool is not supposed to just, you know, look pretty, okay? A business tool, okay, like any other tool that you have in your business, okay? The bottom line of every business is to generate revenue, okay? So your website as a business tool, okay, its first and foremost purpose should be to generate sales, or if not sales, at least generate leads for you, okay? If you don't sell anything directly from your website, then at least generate leads for your products and services that you sell offline. All right. So if you guys register for this webinar, then you would have received in your emails a link to download the website checklist. Okay, so this is my website checklist where I cover and give examples of the 7 features that an effective website needs to have in 2016. So I'm just going to pause this presentation for a second and just make sure, first of all, you guys are still with me and that you have this website checklist open in front of you. Okay. All right, so the 7 features that we need for an effective website in 2016. So this is just a brief overview, and we'll go into a little bit more detail in the following slides. Okay, so the first and probably most important feature now, okay, is what's called a responsive design. Now, responsive design is, in very simple terms, is basically when your website adjusts itself automatically, okay, to the screen size that you're viewing it on. Okay, so if you're on your computer, okay, if you're on your smartphone, if you're on your tablet, whatever screen size you're on, the way the website displays adjusts itself automatically without you having to do anything, okay? And everything displays properly, okay? So you're able to read the content, you're able to see the video, okay? Whatever there is on your website. Now, the reason why it's so important is twofold, okay? First reason is because, okay, actually most of the web traffic now, okay, is for mobile devices, okay? So the vast majority of people, okay, more than like almost 60% of people, okay, browse the web from their smartphones, okay? With a social media platform like Facebook, for example, about half of its users only visit it on their smartphone. So they never actually open Facebook on their computer, ever, okay? So if your website doesn't adjust, okay, to the screen size of the people who are viewing it, and someone comes to your website on their smartphone and everything looks completely messed up and they can't figure out what's happening, obviously you understand what's going to happen. They're not going to stick around for very long, okay? So that's one reason why responsive design is so important, okay? The second reason, and that probably will seal the deal to any of you who still have any doubts about the importance of responsive design, is the fact that actually Google have made a change, I believe it was mid last year, May 2015, okay? So just over a year now, made a pretty significant change to the algorithm. Some Google observers or experts have actually said that this is the biggest change in their algorithm ever, like in their history, which basically, in very simple terms, means that if your website is not optimized for mobile devices, all right, it will not show up in the search results for people who search on their mobile phones, okay? So if you're on your mobile phone and you search for something, okay, your website will not even appear in the search results. And I'm sure you can understand what are the consequences of not being seen in the Google search results. Okay, they're pretty dire. Okay, moving on. The second feature is a location map. Okay, so for those of you who have a physical location, okay, so you have a permanent physical location, so business premises where people, come to do business with you. Okay, it's very important not just to have the address on your website. Okay, people don't know and people are busy. Okay, they're not gonna take your address if they're not familiar with the area. For example, they're not going to take your address, put it in Google or put it in Google Maps and try and see where it is. It's just too hard. Just make it. You need to understand that people online, they have a very, very short attention span, okay? So, some researchers, I believe in MIT have actually proven that, the attention span of people online is 1 second shorter than a goldfish, okay? Just like, no joke, like 1 second shorter than a goldfish. So, you need to make things very, very easy for people when they are online, especially when they are out and about on their smartphone. So having an address is great, but you should definitely take it one step further and actually have a map, okay? So show a map, okay, on your website, okay, that shows your location. And that map should not be static, it should actually be dynamic, so people can actually go on your website and move it around, okay, and see what's around you, like, what landmarks are around you, so that it's easy for them to find you. So in the same way that you would do it on Google Maps, you'll be able to do it on your website, and we'll actually use Google Maps for that, but I'll get to that shortly. The other thing is, if you rely on, on phone inquiries or on phone orders, basically if you rely on people to actually pick up the phone and call you, okay, in order, to make sales or, to generate revenue, to generate leads, whatever, okay, generate prospective clients, again, you need to make it very easy for them, okay, and always be in mind of people who are on their smartphones. So having your phone number on your website is great, but that's not enough, okay? So if you just have your normal phone number on your website, that just means, okay, that people, again, they need to copy the phone number or memorize it, and no one is gonna do that, and then, paste it into their, dialer on their phone, and then dial the number, okay? That is just too hard, People might get distracted, and they might just give up. So you need to take it one step further and make your phone number clickable. Now, and I'll show you that shortly, when your phone number is clickable, then all people have to do is when they're browse on their smartphone, okay, and they have their mobile browser open, and they click on the phone number, okay, the dialer on their phone automatically opens up with the number already pre-populated. And all they have to do is just click the dial button, and that's it, and they're ready to go. Okay, so you would agree with me that that is a lot easier than copying and pasting a phone number. Okay, the next point is having a contact form. Now, a lot of business owners put their email address on their website, and that's great. Okay, there are two problems with that. Okay, one major problem and one minor problem. Okay, the major problem is, again, the fact that you're expecting people to do too much work. Okay, if you just have your email on your website, okay, then basically, again, people need to copy the email address, then, paste it into Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever they're using, okay, and send you the email, okay? Too hard. You always have to keep in mind, when you're on your smartphone, you have, first of all, you're out and about, there might be a lot of distractions. The second of all, you have a very small screen and very small keyboard, okay? It's just not convenient to do that. And the second issue with that, and that's a minor issue, but you could still experience that, is if you have your email address publicly available on your website, you'll soon find out that you start getting quite a lot of spam to that email address. Now, I won't get into too much detail why that happens, but basically there's automated software, okay, that hackers and spammers use that basically scans websites and looks for email addresses. And email addresses are quite easy, obviously, to recognize because, they have a certain structure, okay? And whenever they identify an email address, they basically record it and add it to a database. And they know that, first of all, that email address exists, that, it's active and it's obviously regularly checked, okay? And then they'll start bombarding you with spam to that email address. So if you've put your email address on your website and, within a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you start receiving quite a lot of spam to that email address, it is quite possible that that is the reason why that's happening. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to cover is the opt-in box. Okay. So we've already covered the number one mistake, okay, that business owners make, and that's not collecting email addresses. Okay. So in order to collect email addresses, okay, you need to have what's called an opt-in box. Okay. Or even I would recommend, if you take your email database seriously, you even create a dedicated page, okay, with the sole purpose of collecting email addresses. Okay, so basically it's just a part of your website or a dedicated page, okay, where there is a form that collects people's email address, okay, and whatever other information that you might want to collect from them, like their name, okay, their phone number, what city they're in, or anything like that. Okay, so we'll get into that into a little bit more detail, and I'll show you a few examples of what's possible. Now, the next point is if you're active on social media and you want to get followers on social media, okay, that's I think for most small business owners, that should not be on top of the priority. Okay, on top of the priority should definitely be their email database and having a website that actually serves their business goals and ideally generates revenue for them. But if you want to increase your following on social media, or your social media presence is an important part of your business, okay, for whatever reason, and I know a lot of people that are in the food industry, like restaurants or pubs or things like that, okay, it's quite important for them. They usually post photos of the dishes on Instagram, okay, so it's very important for them to have a following on Instagram. Other thing is people who either sell stuff online or make clothes or sell clothes or jewelry or things like that. They really like Pinterest, okay, because Pinterest is a very good platform for that. So it's quite important for them to have a Pinterest following. So whatever social media you're already active on, okay, and whatever social media you want to use in the future, okay, if you want to get more followers on those social media platforms, again, make it easy for people, okay? And the easiest way for people to follow you on social media is when they come to the website, they don't even have to go anywhere. So they don't even have to leave your website in order to follow you on social media. And I'll show you in a second what that means, okay? The last point is that every page, okay, on your website should have some kind of a call to action. Call to action is basically marketing jargon, but what it means in simple terms is something for people to do, okay? And you make it very clear for whoever visits their website what they need to do on that website, okay? So a call to action can be a lot of different things, and I'll cover some of them shortly. But every page on your website should do something, okay? Whenever you add a page to your website, you need to think to yourself, what is the goal of this page? What do I want this page to do? Or am I just adding it to say that I have a lot of pages on my website, which is definitely not the right way to go about it, okay? So before you add any page to your website, think what is the purpose of this page, okay? And then when you build this page and when you design this page, or when you write the content on this page, make it very, very clear, okay, what you want people to do on that website. And that is your call to action. The last point I would say about call to action is ideally you want to have only one call to action on each page, okay? You don't want to confuse people. So you don't want to have on one page a call to action for people to give you the email address and follow you on social media and give you a call and download your brochure and all that on one page, okay? You just don't want to overwhelm people because if there's too much choice, usually people don't do anything and then just leave. Okay, so every page should have a call to action and a single call to action, only one, okay? So it has to be very obvious what they need to do, and it has to be very easy for them to do that. Okay, so now that we've covered the 7 features, how you can actually implement those features on your website. Now, before I go any further, the prerequisite for the implementation of any of these features is to have a WordPress website. Okay, so if your website is not on WordPress at the moment, a lot of these tools, okay, and solutions that I'm going to cover will unfortunately be irrelevant for you, okay? But, okay, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable. I mean, once you do switch to WordPress, which I strongly suggest you do, and if you haven't started building your website, then you're probably in even a better position because you're starting from scratch and you know what platform you're going to use. So you're already, ahead of the game. But once you have your website on WordPress, then this content will be extremely valuable for you as well. So now I'll just go for the benefit of like both groups, okay? So people who are on WordPress or people who are on other platforms, I just go quickly through the tools just so that you can see what is possible and how easy it is and what are the costs involved. And the good news is that in most cases, there are no costs involved, okay? The cost is zero, okay? It's free. All right. So the first thing is a responsive design. Now, responsive design with WordPress is very, very easy, okay? All you have to do, okay, if you're using WordPress, okay, is basically use a website template that is responsive, okay, that is already responsive out of the box. Now, a website template is in WordPress terminology, it's called a theme, okay? So it's basically it's basically the building blocks of your website. So it's a certain design, okay, predetermined design that you implement on your website, okay, as a starting point. And then you can customize it as much as you want, okay, and add a lot of features and functionality to it, remove things that you don't need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what a website template is. And in the WordPress universe, okay, a website template is called a theme, okay? And if your theme is responsive, okay, is designed to be responsive, okay, is built as a responsive theme, then that's it. Your problem is solved from the get-go, okay? That's it. There's nothing else for you to do. If you've used a responsive theme, then your website will have a responsive design from the get-go. Now, the good news is that there are thousands, like literally thousands of themes in the official WordPress repository, which are all free, okay? I think last count, I believe there were more than 6,000, okay? And out of those, probably 85 to 90% are responsive, okay? So you have a lot of choice, okay? And if that's not enough for you, then there are even more, okay? Probably there's just one, like, marketplace for commercial themes, okay, which is basically a different name for themes that you have to pay for, okay? That I believe has something like 25,000 themes to choose from, and all the commercial themes, all of them without exception, will be responsive. So again, you are really, really spoiled for choice. And whether you want to spend a couple of dollars or you don't want to spend a couple of dollars, you have a lot of options to choose from. Okay, and as I already said, your website template or theme is only the starting point of your design. So it's not that, if two websites are using the same theme, that they will look the same. No, in all likelihood, especially like, if they were built by, a competent person, then you won't even be able to tell, okay, easily that those websites, two websites use the same theme, because they will look completely different, okay? That is the great power of WordPress, because there's so much choice and so many options, okay? You can have, like, no two websites are completely alike, okay? You can have every website can have its own unique look and feel and functionality, okay? And that is one of the great things about WordPress, and it's very easy to do, okay? Now, when it comes to a location map, okay, we are going to use Google Maps. Now, I don't know if you knew that or not, but Google has actually made their map functionality available to anyone free of charge. So basically, anyone can embed or can add a Google map, okay, to their website, and you don't have to pay Google a cent, okay? So basically what you do is the same way that you look for a place on Google Maps, and you can scroll around, you can see what's around it, you can get driving directions or walking directions or whatever you want, okay? The same thing, you can have exactly the same functionality on your own website, okay? Just by adding a Google map, okay? And people can search, people can scroll around. So it's not just a fixed image, okay? It's what's called the dynamic map. So people can move around, okay? We move up and down, see what's around you, and do a search. So basically the same thing that you would do, the same way that you would use Google Maps, okay? Either on your computer or on your phone. And another good thing is that adding Google Maps to your website is very, very easy, okay? And that's done through something called the plugin, okay? Which is basically a software that you can add to WordPress, okay? So it's a software that adds additional functionality to the basic WordPress platform, okay? That allows you to add a map, okay? And there's literally hundreds of plugins, of free plugins. There's even more probably paid plugins, but hundreds of free plugins that let you do that, okay? And you really, again, you really are spoiled for choice. So also I should mention that there are now more and more WordPress themes, especially if they're aimed at business websites and not so much for bloggers, okay, or for e-commerce stores, okay. A lot of them will come, okay, with the Google Maps functionality built in, okay? So they will have a built-in template to create a contact form, and all you have to do is basically enter the address of your business, okay? And it will automatically embed the Google Map without you having to do anything, without you even having to add any extra plugin, okay? So again, something to keep in mind. So if if you choose a theme that supports Google Maps, okay, out of the box, then you don't even need a plugin. Okay, now if you do need a plugin, and as I said, there's like hundreds that you can choose from, then two that I like, okay, is the contact info widget from a plugin called Jetpack, and another plugin called Seller Places. Now, as you can see, these are links, okay, and when I send you guys the recording, okay, I will also send you a link to this presentation, so you'll actually be able to access these links and have a look and download those plugins and add them to your WordPress website if you choose to do that. But these are the two that are two of my favorites and the ones that I like to use for myself and also with some of the clients that I work with. But obviously there's a lot of others that you can choose from if you want to do your own research. Okay, so clickable phone number, okay, as we discussed before, allows people, okay, to click on your phone, click on the phone number on your website, and automatically the dialer on your phone will be pre-populated with a number, and you'll be able to dial. Now, there's a bit of code here, and as you can see, it might look a bit scary. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's basically just an HTML code that you can add, or you can use a plugin to do that for you. And I've given like 2 examples here of plugins. All right. But basically, it's like the same way that you would add a link to your website. So you would like type some kind of a word and then highlight it and add a link to it. The same way you would do with your phone number, but you would just add a different kind of link. And as you can see, there's 2 ways to do that. But I'm not going to get into too much detail here. Okay, just know that it's very easy to do, and you can either do it by just adding a special kind of link or by using a plugin. Okay. So a contact form, okay, as I said, allows people to contact you directly from the website, okay, without having to like open their email software or without you even having to include your email address if you don't want to, okay, if you're concerned about spammers, okay, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, okay. There's just one example that I've used on one website. I've since moved to another solution, but basically what happens is people type their message into the contact form, okay? You get whatever message they type there, you get it by email, okay? And then in most cases, you're just able to reply to this message that you get, and the reply actually goes to these people directly, okay? So it's as if you're having like an email conversation with them, but just that this email conversation is started from a contact form, okay? Now, a lot of these contact forms also have a feature that allows you to add protection from spammers. So just, again, there are a lot of automated software, unfortunately, that is used by spammers and hackers that just goes around the internet and looks for contact forms. And then it just starts like, pre-populating those contact forms and automatically sending like garbage messages, basically, or sometimes even they might even try to introduce viruses, okay? This is all done by automated software, so it's not even done by human beings, okay? And in order to help people fight that, okay, Google recently, or not so recently, probably 2 years ago, introduced a new tool, okay, and that tool is called reCAPTCHA. And that tool basically uses artificial intelligence to identify that the person completing the form is actually human and not some automated software. And the great thing about it is, again, Google has made it available free of charge to everyone to use. And a lot of these contact forms will allow you to add that functionality. Now, as far as specific plugins that you can use for contact forms, I've given a few examples here of free plugins, okay? So there's a contact form functionality within the Jetpack plugin. There's contact form 7, which is probably the most widely used contact form WordPress plugin, okay? There is another service called Talk2, okay, which is very, very versatile and has some pretty impressive functionality for a free solution. So definitely worth checking out. And there's also a plugin called Secure Contact Form. And the benefit of that one is that you can add an option for people to send you attachments via the contact form. So most of these contact forms, they don't allow people to include attachments. So send you files together with your messages. So like, for example, if they need to send you a sample of like, of something that they need you to work on, okay, like an image or something like that. None of these plugins will let you do that, but this one will, okay? This one will let you do that. And obviously there's a lot of other paid plugins if you want to pay, and that offer some additional functionality and more sophisticated interface. Like for example, this one, Helloify, has a mobile app, okay? So you can receive whatever messages that you get from your contact form. You can receive it through your smartphone, through a mobile app that they have. Talk2 also has, they've recently launched a mobile app. I believe there's one for Android, and I'm pretty sure they were in the process of releasing one for iPhone. I think it's already out. So they have one already. Okay, so you don't even have to check your email. You can just get a notification through an app on your phone. All right. Okay, so now we're getting to the most important thing. Okay, so we've discussed the importance of email. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on that again. So in order for you to actually collect an email, collect emails, okay, and build an email database, and then be able to use that email database, okay, you need two things. Okay, so you need to have opt-in boxes or pages, so we've discussed that already, and you need to have what's called an autoresponder email software. Now, an autoresponder email software is a dedicated software, okay, that allows you to send emails in bulk. Okay, now you can't use something like Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook to bulk send marketing emails. It's actually first of all, in most cases, it won't even reach the recipient's inbox and will be flagged as spam. And second of all, in most countries in the developed world, it's actually illegal. Okay, it's considered spam. Okay, because you need to. I'll get to that shortly, but basically, as you can see here, you need to get people's explicit permission, okay, before you can send them any emails, okay? Because email marketing is what's considered permission-based. So you can't send email marketing, okay, or send marketing newsletters or marketing messages to anyone unless they've explicitly given you permission. So they said, yes, I want to receive email marketing from you. Okay, and you are able to record and prove, okay, in a court of law, theoretically, that that person has given you permission. If you don't have that permission, or you can't prove that you've received this permission, okay, you're actually breaking the law, and we're talking about fines in the tens of thousands of dollars. So we're talking about a very, very serious offense, okay? And the autoresponder software, it allows you to completely automate that. So the autoresponder software will record that permission, okay, and keep it for future reference. And then once the permission has been granted, once your visitors or your client has given permission to receive email from you, okay, they will actually send those emails to them, okay? And those emails can be one-off emails or automated emails that go out in a sequence, okay? And that's what the name autoresponder stands for. So either of these things, okay? So as we've discussed already, there's you can either have an opt-in box, okay, which is just an area on an existing page of your website where people can enter their email address, okay? Or you can have a dedicated page just for the purpose of collecting email addresses. I would actually suggest that you have both, okay? But what you do is entirely up to you. Now, as far as creating those opt-in boxes, okay, they're like, again, because it's such an important functionality and because basically everyone needs it now, there are hundreds of plugins that allow you to do that. And again, there's a lot of free and paid ones, okay? From the free ones, okay, my favorite one, and that's a relatively recent addition to my toolset, okay, something that I've come across probably in the last 6 months or so, is Rapidology, okay? And it's made by a company called Leadpages, which, if you've heard of them, they specialize in email marketing, okay? And they've made this plugin available free of charge to anyone. So it's free, okay? No catches, okay? The only thing is that they will ask you to give them your email address in order to download this plugin. But then obviously, like, if you don't want to receive any further messages from them after that, after, you get the activation code, then you're free to unsubscribe, okay? You'll still be able to use the plugin. Among the paid ones, two that I like are Mailmunch, okay? Mailmunch also has an entry-level free tier, okay? Which basically you can use some of their features without paying them, okay? And the other one is Gravity Forms, okay? Now, that's the autoresponder, that's the opt-in box part covered. Now, the second part is your actual autoresponder software, okay? And the good thing with that, again, you can actually get started for free. So you can start collecting email addresses and start sending email marketing to those people without actually paying a cent. So you can create an opt-in box with a free plugin and then use an autoresponder, okay, a free tier of an autoresponder or bulk emailing service in order to send your marketing newsletters. Now, I'm going to give you 3 options, okay, the 3 that I think are the best and the 3 that I have personal experience with. Okay, the first one is MailChimp, which I'm sure many of you have heard, okay? Now, MailChimp allows you to have up to 2,000 subscribers before you have to start actually paying them anything. But there are restrictions, okay? And MailChimp probably has the most restrictions, okay? The 2 main restrictions are that you can't send more than 12,000 emails in a month, okay? So let's say that, you have close to 2,000 subscribers, you won't be able to email them more than 6 times a month, okay? And the other thing is that you actually don't get the autoresponder or the automation feature with the free plan. So you'll only be able to send what's called a broadcast email. So you won't be able to send a predetermined email sequence or email series to people on the free plan. You'll need to upgrade to a paid plan. Okay. The other thing that, that's a minor thing, but it's something also to keep in mind with MailChimp. They have this funny thing where they look at every list, okay, every group of subscribers that you have in your account as completely separate from one another, which means that, for example, if you have the same email address or the same subscriber in 5 different lists or in 5 different groups, then the MailChimp counts that at 5 different subscribers, even though it's the same person. Okay, so that's just something that I think is silly, but that's just the way they work. Okay, now the second option is actually a WordPress plugin. So it's not a service that is hosted somewhere else. It's actually what's called a self-hosted solution. So it's a WordPress plugin that you install on your website. Okay, and it allows you to have up to 2,000 subscribers, okay, for free without you having to pay them anything. And the good thing about it is that there are no restrictions on functionality, so they don't limit functionality. So you're able to send autoresponders, okay? The downside with MailPoet is because it's a self-hosted solution and it's because it's a WordPress plugin, there's a little bit of a setup involved. So you need to set up MailPoet, then you need to set up a separate sending service, an actual so MailPoet doesn't actually send your emails. You need to have another service that will actually send those emails for you, but I'm not going to get into the details now. So that can be a bit convoluted, but once you do it once, then it's very easy to do it again. And the benefit is that you have 100% control over your email database. So what I mean by that is that there have been instances in the past, all right, where people have been locked out of the MailChimp account, of their Aweber account, like they did something that, that the mail provider didn't like, or maybe, I don't know, some of their subscribers flagged some of their messages as spam, and as a result, people got locked out of their account and weren't able to even access their email list, even just to export it and move it to another service. So that is just something to keep in mind. With MailPoint, it cannot happen, okay, because your email database is on your WordPress website, okay? It's actually hosted by you. It never leaves your WordPress website, and that means that, you are 100% in control. As long as you have access to your WordPress website, which there's no reason why you shouldn't have, then you have access to your email database. And if, you encounter some issues with a particular sending service, you just switch to a different sending service, and, and you're off to the races, so it doesn't really matter. The database itself always stays on your website. Now, the third option is something that, again, I've come across recently, and I really like it because, okay, it's extremely user-friendly. Now, some people say that MailChimp is very user-friendly. Some people say that MailChimp is a bit hard to figure out. This one, like every client that I've introduced the service to, or anyone that I've even looked at reviews online, everyone is unanimous that this service is extremely easy to use. Like, the user interface is without a doubt the best, okay? Now, they only allow you 1,000 subscribers before you need to start paying them. And like MailPoint, you have access to all the features, and there are no sending limits. So it's not like MailChimp that you can send only 12,000 a month. You can send as many as you need, okay? After 1,000, you need to start paying them, but, okay, the pricing is actually a lot cheaper than MailChimp once you do start paying. So once you reach their paid levels, MailerLite continues to be significantly cheaper than MailChimp, okay? I've included the links here, and you'll see that in the presentation once I send you the links. But the pricing is a lot more competitive than MailChimp. So, and the user interface is truly outstanding. So definitely something to consider. Now, next thing is encourage people to follow you on social media. Okay, so here's an example here from one of the websites that I did. So as you can see, there is a Google Plus box here, there's a YouTube, and there is Facebook. Okay, and basically it's a bit maybe hard to see, but you see there are buttons in each of these boxes, and basically all people need to do is just click on the button, and that's it, and they become followers on that social media platform. So for Facebook, for example, as long as they're logged into Facebook, if they click on the like button, that's it, they become fans of the page. If they're logged into the Google account and they, click on the follow here on Google+, then they become followers on Google+. If they log into the Google account, that means they're also logged into YouTube. That means that if they click on the YouTube account, on the YouTube button, then they become followers on YouTube. Again, that's all on the website without ever leaving the website. So they don't have to go to YouTube in order to follow that person. They don't have to go to Facebook in order to follow that person. They do all within the website. And there are a lot of free plugins that allow you to do that, okay? Some of the ones that I like to use are, again, there are 2 modules within Jetpack that are very good for Facebook and Twitter, okay? There's another plugin called Google for WordPress, which is, it's not actually made by Google, but that's just the name. And it's designed basically to integrate various Google features into a WordPress website. And one of the features is to allow people to subscribe to your YouTube channel and to follow you on Google+. And there's also a plugin for people to follow you on Pinterest and a widget to follow you on Instagram. Okay, so call to action, okay? So again, small example here, but this is just an opt-in box that I have on the homepage of this particular website. Okay, so as we discussed already, every page that you have on your website, there needs to be something there for people to do. Okay, and just a few examples is obviously email opt-in. Okay, if you sell things to your website, so if you have an e-commerce store, okay, make a purchase, then obviously a product page where they can make a purchase. If you have sales brochures, you can allow people to download brochures from your website, okay? If you have a contact form, people can get in touch with you, okay? Or you can have a page just dedicated to getting people to follow you on social media. That's also an option. And you would have the various social media follow boxes that I've already discussed in the previous slide. Now, if you want, when it comes to opt-in boxes, contact form, and social media follow boxes, so we've already covered that, okay? If you are selling things to your website, okay, and you want to have a buy now button, okay, for people to actually, to take payment and buy your products or services, again, there's a lot of different ways to do that, and they range from very, very simple and very basic, okay, to extremely, like, versatile and sophisticated, I would say almost enterprise level, okay? So an example for a very basic solution is Easy PayPal Accept, okay? It's a plugin that basically allows you to put a PayPal button on your website to collect payment. That's it. You tell this plugin the email address of your PayPal account and the amount that you want to charge, and that's it. And that's it. And you have a button to collect payment. On the other scale of payment solutions is what's called WooCommerce. Okay, WooCommerce is an amazing plugin which basically allows you to transform your WordPress website into a fully fledged like online store, like what you would see with any of the major retailers like Amazon or eBay. You can have the same functionality on your website. It's extremely popular. I think it powers about almost 40% of all e-commerce websites in the world, okay? And the good thing is that the basic functionality is completely free. You don't even have to pay a cent. So if you just want to have sell products, either physical products or digital products, and you just want to collect payments through PayPal, then it's free. You don't pay a cent. Now, what would you say if, I mean, all these features, they might look to some of you, might look a bit complicated, okay? And you say, oh, look, that looks good, but like, I just don't have the money to pay someone to do that. I can't figure out how to do it myself, and I just can't afford to pay someone to do it for me. So how about if I told you that you actually don't need to, okay? You can actually do it yourself, okay? Even if you have no experience, okay? Even if you have no technical skills, even if you have zero, like, knowledge with this internet and tech stuff, okay? So the good news is that you can actually can do that, okay? And you'll be able to do that thanks to my Online Presence Accelerator course. Now, the Online Presence Accelerator course is a 12-week program, okay? It's a structured program, so it moves from, from the most basic to a bit more advanced things, okay? They will basically teach you how to build a professional online presence from scratch on your own, even if you have no experience and no technical skills. Now, basically, it's for any small business owner who wants to have a professional online presence but doesn't want to pay thousands for that, okay? So in order to be able to gain benefit from this program, okay, the way I've designed it, really all you need to do, all you need to have, okay, is a computer and an internet connection, okay? And if you've ever used, Microsoft Word or OpenOffice or anything like that, then that's it. You already have all the experience, all the prior knowledge, anything that you'll need in order to actually benefit from this course and be able to implement the lessons. Now, here's what you will learn. So it's a 12-week course, as I said, and it starts from, pretty basic things and moves into more advanced stuff. But in very broad terms, this is what you will learn, okay? You will actually learn how to build your own website from scratch, okay, with WordPress, and how to design it from the get-go with your business goals in mind, as opposed to just looking pretty, okay? Once you have your website, okay, you need traffic. So the next step will be how to make sure that your business actually gets found on Google in the Google search results. Now, I'm not saying that this course will mean that you will be on the first page of Google. I'm definitely not saying that, and I can't guarantee that, and nobody can, okay? Even Google can't guarantee you that. But what I can guarantee is that you will be able to optimize your website, okay, and your online presence to make sure that Google indexes all the information on your website and picks up any information, any changes, any updates that you make to your website. So as soon as your website goes live, it will be added to the Google index pretty quickly, okay? Whether it makes it to the first page or the second page or anything like that, that is definitely beyond the scope of this program. It's not what's called an SEO or search engine optimization program, but you will definitely, if you follow the lessons in the program, you will definitely make sure that Google takes notice of your website as soon as it's basically live. Now, if you want to be able to sell products, okay, or services to your website, okay, whether it's downloadables or, you know, physical products that you ship or services that you deliver either through the internet or face-to-face, and you just want to collect payment through your website, you'll be able to do that, okay? The next step will be how to build an email database. So we'll teach you how to create those opt-in boxes that I've discussed, okay, where to place them, how to design them, okay, for maximum conversion. What's called conversion basically means the percentage of visitors that come to your website that end up becoming email subscribers, okay? So it will teach you how to do that. And then once you actually have those people in your email database, how do you market to them, okay? How do you maintain a relationship with them? How do you, maintain their trust and provide value to them? Because the way the internet works these days, you have to provide value to people first before they will trust you and do any business with you. So you, first of all, you need to prove that you're knowledgeable in what you're talking about, okay? That you are willing to share your knowledge freely without expecting anything in return, okay? And that's what will build a goodwill and encourage people, to work with you in the future. And email is probably one of the best ways of doing that, because you can be in contact, direct contact with your prospective customers, okay, without having to go through Facebook and without having to fight the Facebook algorithm and things like that. Now, if you choose to be active on social media, okay, and social media can be a very effective tool, okay, for businesses if done the right way, okay, and this program will teach you how to use social media the right way to actually gain exposure for your business and get qualified people to actually follow you on social media and interact with you on social media. And by qualified people, I mean people who are likely to become customers in the future, okay? And the last part of the course is if you choose to use Facebook advertising, which can be very, very effective, okay? This course will teach you how to do that the right way, because there's a right way, there's the right way to advertise on Facebook, and there's the wrong way to advertise on Facebook. And if you go the wrong way, then you will just literally end up flushing money down the toilet. If you do Facebook advertising the right way, then you can have a return on investment of 100, 1,000, even 10,000%. So basically, for every $1 that you put into Facebook advertising, you can get $100 or even $1,000 if you do it the right way. So this program will teach you pretty advanced concepts of how to do that on Facebook. Things like retargeting and custom audience, if that rings a bell at all. But even if it doesn't, then you will know all of that by the end of this program. Okay, so what do you actually get with the program? So the program consists of 12 video lessons. So it's 12 weeks, okay? Every week you get a video lesson, and you get one video lesson a week. So you don't get all of them at the same time. You get one every week. And the reason why I do that is just to make sure that people don't get overwhelmed, okay? The second thing is you will have office hours. So if any questions or problems, okay, I'm going to have, this is something that I'm adding to the program now, actually. I'm going to have weekly office hours where basically you'll be able to contact me via Skype, okay, or by email if you want, but I'll be available on Skype as well, and you will be able to share the screen, and you'll be able to show me, and I'll be able to help you in real time. Okay, and the second thing that will be available soon, that's not live yet, but will be available soon, is a dedicated Facebook group. So anyone who's either an existing or past student in this program will be in this group, okay? And you will be able to interact with each other, help each other out with things that you get stuck with, advice, network, and obviously I'll be there as well to answer questions. As I said, if you have any questions, if you get stuck, you can email me anytime, and I guarantee that you will get a reply within 1 or 2 business days. So even if, I'm away or on holidays, I'll make sure that there is someone there that can actually, knowledgeable, that can reply to your questions, okay? Also, you actually have lifetime access to the course material. So as you can imagine, things like that, anything that has to do with the internet changes all the time. So those videos and a lot of the lessons will have to be, updated throughout, the course's lifetime. And whenever I make changes to the course or I add new modules or, update existing modules, you will have access to that, and you won't have to pay an extra cent. Okay, so you will have access to this program for life. The next thing you will get is a 20% discount on any web design services that you order from me. That's for 12 months from the course completion. So if you decide, after going through the course that you actually don't want to build your own website, you prefer someone like me to do it for you, that's fine. I'm happy to do that, and I will give you a 20% discount just as my thank you for going through the program. And also the program comes with an anytime money-back guarantee. So if you can't see the value in this program, if you don't think this program has helped you, if you don't think it's good enough, okay, I don't want your money. It's as simple as that. So either if you go through the program at any stage, okay, either while you're still going through the program or even after you finished all the lessons, okay, you can tell me that, look, this is not what I expected. This didn't really work out for me, and I would like my money back, and I'll give you your money. No questions asked. As simple as that. I don't think I can be more fair than this. And as you can see, the price is $295 Australian. So for those of you not from Australia, so I've included the pricing also in US, pound, and euros. And I'm sure that you'll agree with me that this is pretty good value, okay, for what you're getting from this program and for the insane amount of knowledge that you're going to gain from this program. And I mean, all I would say is just think how long it would take you, okay, to get this knowledge yourself. Sure, a lot of it might be available online for free, but how long, first of all, will it take you to find that? And then second of all, structure it in a way that you can actually implement. So just something to think about. And